Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to wearefree.tv, the channel of the people, by the people, for the people. The channel where we interview on a regular basis different guests from around the world about various unusual subjects, such as channeling, unusual healing modalities, quantum healing, then the fifth dimension, the raising of the consciousness, alternative medicine, alternative psychology, alternative education, anything alternative, unusual, which normally wouldn't be given any airtime on the mainstream media. This is where we come to learn about these subjects, and this is where we welcome different practitioners from around the world to tell us about their speciality and how good they are in certain unusual things for the benefit of our viewers around the world. And I would like to thank people who have donated. Highly appreciated. The information is up here. Whoever wishes to donate, thank you very much. Also, we have a Telegram group, which is called No Censorship TV, as you can see here. And the group is kept clean, i.e. we only send links to interviews as and when they come out, but we don't send any information there. We don't talk. There's no chatting or anything. Just links to the interviews. So it's highly recommended that you join. And if you don't have Telegram, then you could just go to our website, wearefree.tv. That will take you to the Hebrew version of our site. And on the top left corner, you could click EN for English, and then you could click on Join Us and enter your name and email, send, and that will add you to our mailing list, and you will get a notification of every interview as and when it comes out straight to your email. Thank you very much for that. And of course, please share this interview wherever you possibly can. Share it on your TikTok, on your Facebook page, on your LinkedIn, on your send it by email to your friends, send it by mail, by WhatsApp, Telegram, and LinkedIn, and even, what's that with a bird? Twitter. So that is it for now. And now we can move on to today's interview, which is going to be very, very interesting indeed. My guest today is a lady called Sonya Grace. She is a mystic healer. The name of the interview is Spirit Traveling with Sonya Grace. We're going to talk about unseen worlds, entities, emotional wounds, karma, guides, time traveling, and many more interesting subjects. So, hello there, Sonya. How are you today?
Hi, thank you. I'm well. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much for agreeing. I mean, you have a very tight schedule, I understand.
I do.
Amazing. So
I'm very busy, but I'm more than happy to take time for you and for your audience. So thank you.
That's very kind. So perhaps you could give us a brief introduction of who you are and why you are and where are you and why did you do this and what are you doing exactly and where are you going and what's your life purpose in a nutshell?
Right. In a nutshell. Well, I'm considered a mystic healer, and I was born with all sensory systems on, so I can see, hear, smell, feel, and weirdly taste everything in the spirit realm. So I'm on, and being born this way means I had a very unusual childhood. I had a lot of weird things that happened growing up. I had to learn how to navigate all of that extra input coming in. And I was fortunate to have 3 really good teachers who helped me corral my abilities and understand them. And they helped me to create a platform of integrity that I work from.
Okay.
My work as a healer is very much, even though it's long distance and I work on people all over the world, I go in and repair hearts and livers and kidneys. I work on cancer, heart disease, lung issues, blood, bones, you name it, I've worked on it. And I'm like an energy surgeon. I go in and repair. I do triple bypass surgeries. You know, I work on people's hernias, whatever. So that's what I do.
Before we get
but
there,
I also,
yeah.
Pardon?
Yeah.
But I also have the aspect of of the healing part with the emotional aspect. So that's very much a part of my work as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before we get there, you said when you were young, you were getting all these. What was it? You said the incoming. What? What was it?
Sure. I saw the spirit world. I saw everything in the astral plane, from the highest angels down to the lowest, smarmiest entities. I see aliens. I see demigods. I see all of it. So that's what I mean, being born, being able to see, hear, feel, smell, and taste. Everything is on, and I see the unseen world.
Can you see it now? Are there entities near you now or near me?
I'm not seeing any entities on you or around you. Yeah,
Poor
you're fine.
me. Why?
But people,
What's wrong with me?
No, well, okay, so entities are lower vibrational beings.
Okay.
What I would want to see around you are guides and angels and benevolent beings,
And
which
can you
I
see
do
any?
actually see an angel on one side of you. Yes.
Hey, and is he doing anything in particular?
Hey, he's dancing. No.
Can I
No.
can I send you a message through you?
Well, sure, yeah, but this angel that's standing by you is your guardian angel. This is who's protecting you.
Okay, and is he satisfied with me so far?
Yes.
Do
Yeah.
you have a message for me, maybe from him?
Yeah, sure. The message is you're on task, you're on purpose. Keep going, and don't waver from the path. Don't let outside influences possibly push you over here when you need to be in this lane.
Could you be more specific? What is it that they're talking about?
This show that you're doing.
Okay, and any more details in terms of what kind of character the show should have? Should I continue with the spiritual aspect with practitioners and alternative medicine healers?
Yeah, what I'm getting is it's about alternative medicine. It's about helping people. We're moving into a time right now where healers are going to be more important than they've ever been in history, because we are going to be colliding with these two energies. One is control, and the other is devastation. And we really need to be prepared for this. So what you're providing, your service of bringing people to the forefront, is so helpful. I mean, I personally can't thank you enough, because we need the vehicle for people to know they can contact people like me to get help.
Yeah.
Because our regular medicine isn't going to cut it. You understand?
Absolutely. I mean, thank you very much for sending me the message or conveying the message. I needed to hear it, although I'm pretty certain about what I'm doing and I'm quite fixated on it. But it's good to know that I'm doing the right thing. So no need to doubt what I'm already doing. And I'd like to ask you, what is cleaning? I mean, cleaning of these entities. So I understand that some people have entities, which is a bad thing, and you clean the entities from them.
Yeah. Okay. So when I work with people, I clear them, and what that means is I go in and I address the energy field around them. Pardon?
In where? Into where are you going?
Okay, like you're there, right? You're where you are.
Yeah.
And I'm where I am. Yeah. Okay, so we're clear across the world from each other. But for me, time and space is not the same as it is for other people. So I don't work on camera with my clients. I'm only on the phone. Mm-hmm. And I'm able to put myself in front of that person and address their energy field and clear it and clear their body.
But when you say go in, cat. Yeah, it's fine. So you go into their energy field?
Yes, I go into their field. I'm going to clear you right now, okay? Please. You can feel this energy, okay? Hang on. Yep. Do you feel that?
I feel my heart is pounding a little bit faster.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel maybe a bit of like a kind of tingling.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe because I'm excited, but I'm not excited. So it has to be it. So what did you do? You cleaned me? Thank you so much.
I cleared, there was kind of, I'm going to call it like a congestion in your field, like a milky kind of substance that was a congestion. I cleared that out. And that was you have 7 layers to the field. So that was in the first couple layers of the field, which tells me that maybe physically you might be feeling a little bit, like sluggish, or you're not quite, tip top on your game.
Yeah.
So the clearing this is going to help you now to feel clearer. If you had entities in the field, I would have taken the entities out. If there was anything alien in your field, I would have taken that out.
So let's talk about that. Have you had a client recently who had an alien in
almost
their field?
Everyone that I clear, almost everyone has entities or some kind of alien interference. And let me say this right now. We're in the 5th dimension. That is a very, very high frequency. Humans have never been in the 5th dimension before. We have only existed in the 4th.
Yeah.
So in this 5th dimension, it's like a train station. And all these energies are coming through. And we as people are trying to decide which train we're going to get on. What belief system are we going to prescribe to? And where are we going to go with that? So aliens are coming through to Earth big time right now. There's portals opening up and they're coming through. Why don't we see them? Because they know how to take physical and non-physical form. I see them because I see them I see all the unseen world.
Yeah.
And there are aliens intervening people right now. There's a big, I'm going to use the words, ready? There's a big takeover that's going on right now.
So explain, please. The aliens are all bad, or all good, or half bad, partially good?
Okay, aliens are like humans. Humans have an agenda. We want oil. We want gold. We want resources. We want money. We have an agenda. Okay? Aliens are no different. Mm-hmm. They're coming here. They have an agenda. They want to take over. They want tissue samples so they can make hybrids. I do not see aliens as good. I see demigods and angels as benevolent. I'd rather call on them. I'd rather connect to that energy. I think aliens are most interested in how we have mismanaged this planet. And they want to come here and take it over so they can manage it.
So I understand, but what about for example, the Pleiadians? Aren't the Pleiadians like really benevolent and trying to help humanity?
They are, and they're not aliens. The Pleiadians are demigods.
Oh.
And that's where people get it mixed up, is the Pleiadians have come here throughout our history of being on planet Earth, and they have actually guided and reconstructed civilizations for people. They're demigods.
What about the Assassani?
I don't see them as being demigods. I see them being more as alien beings. The Arcturians, they're not bad. They're not bad. But there's an agenda there. Okay. And I met a group of aliens, these small, teeny people kind of looking beings. And they had no intention of interfering with humans, but they were coming here to impart wisdom on a scientist.
The Arcturians?
And the last time they were here, they imparted, this small group of aliens that I met.
What are they called?
They called themselves Newtons.
Okay.
And I asked them, why did you call yourself Newtons? And I said, are you guys cookies? What are you? It was a joke.
Yeah.
And
what did they say?
They said that the last time they came here was to impart wisdom on Sir Isaac Newton. And that they were coming again, to impart wisdom on one of our scientists.
I see. And what about...
They didn't want to stay. They didn't want to meddle. They're the only group I've met that I was like, okay with.
What about the Andromedans?
The Andromedans, I mean, I know people who have reincarnated here on Earth who were from Andromeda. So I think they've infiltrated. I think they're here. I don't think they're bad. I think that they're looking for things just like each one of us comes from a different planet out in the galaxy and beyond, and we chose to incarnate here on Earth.
What about Sirius?
Well, Sirius is big in our history. Look at Ra, the god of the sun. He was the god of Sirius. You know, it wasn't our sun in the sky, it was Sirius. And Sirius plays a huge part in ancient Egypt history.
Okay. What about the Anunnaki? And a few more. Anunnaki?
You're funny. The Anunnaki are they're a race of aliens that, in my experience, particularly seen this in time travel, that enslaved the human race. We were slaves to the Anunnaki.
Okay. And how about the reptilians?
Ooh, there definitely is a big agenda there to take over. And they continue to make headway in taking over.
Okay. And the Draconians? And that's it. Then I'll continue. Draconians?
Yeah, the same
And
take
the Greys?
over.
Greys?
Oh, Greys, absolutely. You know, experiments, takeover, hybrids, all of it.
Okay.
All of it.
So now I would like to ask you, because it's amazing what you're saying with all your knowledge. So what exactly is happening? I mean, some people say, a lot of spiritual people and a lot of channelings that I interview channelers on this show in Hebrew mainly, and I interviewed the aliens themselves. And many of them say that the forces of the light forces have already won, the dark forces have been removed, and what we're seeing now is just the remnants of the dark forces, and the age of Aquarius is around the corner, and you know, the new fifth dimension and the high frequency of humans that are going to create heaven on earth is just around the corner, and it's practically happening. What do you think about that?
I don't agree.
Damn.
I know, right? I don't agree. I mean, I think we're in that pinnacle moment of Star Wars where they're all headed to fight the Death Star. You know, it's like we're Jedi and we're dealing with the Death Star. I really feel that. And yes, we're headed for the golden age. Yes, we have entered the age of Aquarius. But yes, what people don't understand, I want to go through this. So let me say this to you.
Please.
We all live in highly addicted societies. We're addicted. We're addicted to alcohol, drugs, television, gaming, phones, shopping, food. We're addicted. So having clear thinking in that state of addiction is hard for most people. Most people even look to spiritualism as a form of addiction. Oh, I'm going to go do another ayahuasca ceremony.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you do some work on the inner and address the emotional wounds that you aren't dealing with because you want to have that euphoric feeling, right? There's nothing wrong with feeling that euphoric, blissed out feeling, but you've got to do the work. You've got to get in there and excavate the emotional wounds. Now, on top of that, we have addiction, but we also have our society we're splitting apart. And what this means, okay, and for your viewers, pull on your ears so you can really hear me. Duality is the soup that we swim in. We measure our reality outside of ourselves by going, oh, that's good. Oh, that's really bad. That's right. That's wrong. That's hot. That's cold. We're always measuring outside of ourselves. And that measuring system called duality is splitting apart. So we are now seeing really, really, oh, that's so good. And oh my God, that is so bad. And it's gotten extreme. And what we don't remember is that in our soul body is that measuring system. Inside of us, we have that immediate check-in of that's right, that's wrong. Nope, that feels off. But we stopped using it because we got so addicted outside of ourselves. So to me, the key is to do the inner work, to do meditation, to go in and process the emotional wounds. Because when we deal with our emotional wounds, we are healing our ancestral line. We're healing all of it. But there is no quick fix. We are in the dark, the dark night of the soul. This winter is going to be very, very difficult for everyone. And I believe that what we have to really stay connected to is hope, because hope is what's going to pull us out and into that golden era. But we got to do the work.
How does one do emotional work to heal one's wounds, emotional wounds?
This is what I do with people all day long. This is my work.
But people who don't know you, can people do it themselves?
No. Well, you can gain some tools and then do some work on your own. Yes.
I mean, I go to a therapist. I go to a therapist. I've been going for like 6 months. Amazing, doctor of psychology, and she's a channeler on top of being a doctor of psychology. And we do a lot of emotional work, and it seems to be working. But what about people who don't go to psychologists? Can they? What about, like Byron Katie and all those methods of the work of finding the core belief systems and then knocking the legs under the table of the belief system and then implanting new ones and things like that?
Well, okay, so first of all, 40% of my clientele are psychologists. And the reason they come to me is because I can do all the healing work and the energy work while they're doing the processing work. Secondly, I offer workshops. I have Zoom workshops on my website. I have a free meditation peace project. They can meditate with me for an hour once a month. They can take that into their own practice. There's tools, there's things that people can learn that they can do on their own. But it's not something like I'm just going to read off a list of things and then send it home with you. This is an experiential thing. This is people feeling their feelings, not thinking about it.
So let's talk about you. I see. Let's talk about what you do. So let's delve into it. So if I was to or not me, tell me about 3 examples. Okay, yesterday I had a woman from whatever, doesn't matter what her, she's this old, and that was her problem, and this is what I did to her, and that's what happened.
Okay, you want examples?
Please.
Yes. Yes.
In short,
I have a client,
please examples. Give us examples.
Yeah. I have a client who has a very rare form of lung cancer. And the prognosis is not good. It's very difficult to survive this type of cancer. So I've been doing some very deep emotional work with her. I've been helping her go into her lungs and discover what is the emotional wound that is attached to this growth in her lung. What does that mean? I've been connecting her with God. Connecting her.
What was it? What was attached to it?
The emotional wound for her?
Yeah.
It was feeling a lack that no one could see her. No one was seeing her. No one was believing her. The core wound was, I am wrong. She felt wrong for being born. She wasn't wanted as a child. Her parents didn't, it was like, surprise, you're pregnant, and they didn't really want another child. Well, here's what happens. From the time we're from the time we're in the womb until we're 3 years old, we imprint all of our parents' psychology. So while you're in the womb and your mom is feeling fearful, oh my God, I'm having another baby, we're taking that in. We are making that a part of our psychology. And then our karma gets mixed in with that psychology. Our karma is unresolved emotional wounds from past lives.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if you were alive in the 1500s and you were being accused of being a heretic, and they take you and tie you up to the post because they're going to burn you at the stake,
Yep.
nobody came to you and said, gee, would you like to talk to a therapist before we burn you at the stake? That didn't happen.
Yeah.
You died, and you died with the shock, the fear, the horror, the betrayal, the abandonment, and all of those feelings came with you into the next life. Okay, so now you're a different gender. You're in a different country. You have a completely different belief system, but you're still dealing with shock, fear, horror, betrayal, and abandonment. It just manifests into a different picture and a different scenario.
Yep.
Okay?
Amazing. So what did you do?
What did I do?
To
what
her,
do you mean what?
to that lady?
I helped her to die.
Wow.
I helped
Sounds
her to
exciting.
die.
How is she feeling now? No, before
she's
that,
on
how
the
did you help her to die?
I helped her talk to God. I connected her to what was a huge thing for her, which was she felt disconnected from source. I connected her. We had amazing conversations with God, and she was so at peace. She had a cancer that would have put most people in a lot of pain.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't in any pain at all.
And why did you help her die? What was the purpose of helping her die? I mean, metaphorically, I guess you're saying die.
Well, if you think about it, we all will eventually die,
Yep.
right? So we have to decide what is the quality of my passage, because our death is the grand finale of all the work that we've done in our lifetime.
Yep.
And that passage is the most important passage that you'll ever make. So to be able to help someone through that and make that passage in a way that they're conscious was brilliant.
But did she die in real life, or is she alive?
No, she died.
Oh, she died. So you were with her in her last moments, and you helped her cross over in a beneficial manner, or in a manner that is serving in the next life.
Correct. Yes.
Wow.
And to add to all of that, for example, I had a client yesterday who's dealing with a lot of emotional turmoil and a lot of, a divorce, and the kids aren't talking to her, and, she feels really upset, like, what have I done with my life? What is my purpose? And I was able to help redirect her and get her back on track. Yeah, you are a botanist. You do connect with plant life and all the Davic realm. And she got really excited. She got reignited about her life. And she was able to process that her ex-husband and all of the pain that he had brought her was really about the emotional wound of watching her parents go through that when she was 3 years old, and taking it on and thinking that she had to fix them and she had to be there for them, and growing up in a dysfunctional family and learning how to be codependent. That's the stuff that I'm dealing with.
What about healing people with physical diseases? Someone who had cancer came to you and he doesn't have cancer anymore, or blood pressure or diabetes or whatever.
Yeah, I had a woman who came to me who had a lesion on her liver. Mm-hmm. And I worked on it and did a healing on her, and she went and got a scan 3 days later, and there was no lesion. So I have a guy here in the States who had a brain tumor, and I saw it coming back after he had gone through treatment. I worked on him. He went in and had scans. No tumor, it's all gone. 6 months later, had scans again, no tumor, it's still gone. Right now I'm working on a 14-year-old little girl who has brain tumors, and she's going through radiation and chemo. It's very aggressive, her treatment, and I'm basically keeping her energy field together. I'm working on her, I'm working on the lesions, and I don't see them anymore. So she hasn't been tested yet, but I see her getting cleared.
And Do you do amazing? And I've been to, I've interviewed two people here who do healing with aliens. They cure people with aliens. And I went to their, to one of theirs clinic, which is a little, a room like with a bed. And she said, well, basically there's like 3 massive rooms here that you can't see. And there's all these aliens and all this equipment here. And, we're going to be working on you. And they worked on me. I didn't feel anything. I was just lying there. Although other people told me that they actually felt hands touching them or they felt touched while the practitioner was on one side of the room and somebody touched their feet, at the same time, which didn't make sense. And anyway, with me, they told me how my sugar levels, my B12 things. They said you have something wrong with your knee. They said, well, not really wrong, but you need to do this and you need more vitamin C. And they said a lot of things that they couldn't have known. And I was like, wow, that's so true. I do have that issue. And apparently they just gave me advice what to do. And I've been doing it since then. And I need to go back in a few months.
Yeah. I work with angels. My whole career, 40 years of doing healing work, I work with angels. So when I do a healing with people, like when I'm in the Meditation Peace Project and we get a healing, it's all angels that come in and work on everyone. And I feel very strongly about that I will only call on the angels to help people, to work on people, because they're benevolent beings. They've never incarnated on Earth. They've never had human lives, and they're the closest beings aside from the demigods to God. So that's why I work with angels.
So what's the difference between a demigod, an angel, and God?
Well, demigods are huge beings. I mean, they're 12, 14 feet high. I did Odin in the 9 Realms, the Oracle, because the Norse gods came to me and said, we need to come back. We need to be here to help the people. And I actually opened one of the portals of which they come through, and they all walked through. I mean, I watched them all walk out of this portal, and they instructed me to do Odin in the 9 Realms. I see the Egyptian gods. I see the Mayan gods, the Hopi gods, the Greek gods. I see all of them. And they are benevolent beings that come to Earth to help humanity, which is a very young species, develop and create new phases of humanity. So we're in a phase of humanity that began at the end of Atlantis and Lemuria. When Atlantis and Lemuria fell in 12,800 BC, comets hit the Earth, flooding, massive chaos. We all agreed as a group of souls that we would herald the next phase of humanity. Yes, I'll have karma, I'll have multiple lives, I'll have amnesia. I won't remember what I've been doing, but I will do this. And we're coming to the end of this phase of humanity, which is why so many people are trying to get their spiritual groove on. They're trying to get, back spiritually, because this is our last lifetime on Earth. Yours, mine, many people, our last lifetime.
And the others?
The children are the ones that will herald the next phase of humanity. The children that are being born are starseeds, like we were at the end of Atlantis and Lemuria. So they're new. They've never had earthbound experiences, and they're coming through to start the next phase of humanity.
That's like the star children and the rainbow children and the crystal children.
Yeah, now you're mixing things. I'm speaking specifically of starseeds, meaning they're from somewhere else in the galaxy, and they're coming into the human form for the first time.
I see.
That's a starseed.
Bless them. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, please, about give examples of social issues that people come to you to heal, like manifesting the wrong partner, or perhaps the problem would be manifesting the wrong partner, and arguments within the family, etc. Any examples for us?
Sure. I have a client who has a family that's totally split and divided because the parents have passed away. and now the estate of the parents is in litigation because nobody can agree upon anything. So I help her to understand what her part is karmically in this pot of people. And I'm able to go back into past lives and see what her lifetimes were, what happened with this group of people, when did they first incarnate, what were their relationships in that first lifetime, and what needs to be cleared karmically, which I'm able to do.
So I'd like you to give the full example. So you could say something like, well, we realized that her uncle today, actually in a previous life, was her son, and they had an issue which now they need to resolve, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, it was very complicated. I'm thinking of another example. A client of mine last week had a falling out with her mother, and her father was deceased. And she was very distraught that they were separated, that they were no longer communicating. And we went back to a lifetime that she had. It was about 2500 BC in Egypt. And her mother was her daughter in that life. She was her mother's mother. And the father was her husband. And the daughter had deceived them, told them that she was going to go here, and instead she went here, and she got together with a man that she wasn't supposed to be with. And it caused this huge, huge thing in her family. Yeah. So we went in and healed that and cleared that karmically, so that now, today, she can have a communication line open back up with her mom.
I see. Okay. And what about the relationship, manifesting the wrong partner? Have you had any of them?
Oh, totally. But see here. Okay, so here's what I want to say about that. The patterning that we start at 4 years old, and we start running our patterns from those emotional wounds that took place from the womb until 3. Those patterns are what we're playing out every day, all day long as adults. Our karma, the unresolved emotional wounds, are a part of that patterning. Mm-hmm. So when I have someone come to me and say, God, I've manifested the wrong guy again. Here it is, relationship number 10, all of them different colored hair and skin and religion, whatever, and they all have the same pattern. We go back to childhood and we discover where that pattern is with mom and dad, and how that person had their emotional wounds come about.
I see.
That's very important. I really want your viewers to understand we have the key. We have the answers to our mystery. Our life is our mystery if we just look to the emotional wounds. So if we see, oh, I felt abandoned, or I am wrong, or I am betrayed, or I am not loved, I'm not seen, I'm not heard. If we can find where those things are, then we start to heal them. And then we start manifesting the right people.
Yep. So an example of a woman who came and she was always manifesting the wrong guy, and then you did the healing work, and 3 months later, what do you know? She got married.
She didn't get married, but she actually did meet someone who was a very different version of her patterns. She's still manifesting her patterns, but you have to understand there's the unhealthy version, and then there's the healthier version, where now she's met a man, he's in recovery, he's doing his work, and they have a really good connection.
Yeah, amazing. Mm-hmm. I must say, personally, I've recently manifested, after so many years of manifesting the same kind of woman in my life, which mainly was all about me being, women that complained about me being, why am I like this, and why am I that, and why don't you love me, and why don't you buy me, and why do you buy me too much, and why don't you send me messages, and why don't you do this to me, and then when we do that to me, and when I do something that's no good, always. And lo and behold, at the moment I'm in a relationship with a woman who's completely the opposite of that.
Fantastic.
loving, accepting, gives me my space, doesn't expect anything of me. Really beautiful person. I can't believe it. I have to pinch myself to actually believe that it's true. So perhaps all the work I was doing actually helped me do that.
It is. It's paying off. Yeah. And if we were all to create a relationship with our inner child, that little you that exists all the time, and we were to do two things: ask the child, how do you feel and what do you need? And give that child whatever it is they need. I need a hug. I need love. I need to ride the Ferris wheel all day long and eat cotton candy. It takes you 2 minutes to do that in your mind. 2 minutes, that's it. And if we just took care of ourselves on that level and filled up the deficit that's inside of us from that wounded little child, what happened to you is what will happen for everyone, because then we start to shift. We start to shift what we're manifesting, what that energy is that's out external, that's a reflection of us internally.
Wonderful.
So good job. That's great. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So back to you and your guides. So who are your guides, and what is your relationship with them? I mean, like, how do you know what they know?
Okay. Well, let's go back to the fact that I can see, hear, feel, smell, and weirdly taste everything in the spirit realm. So I have seen my guides. My earliest memory was being 2 years old in a crib. And back in the day when I was growing up, cribs were really heavy. And I would roll the crib across the floor and hit the door so my mom would come and get me because I wasn't sleeping. But I could see my guides on both sides of the crib smiling at me and rolling the crib across the floor. And my mom would come in and just go, "What is going on? And how did you do this?" And stuff like that happened to me a lot when I was little. Weird stuff where my guides were there helping me. I have always been with my guides through all of my lifetimes. They are here each lifetime assisting me, whether I'm doing healing work or I'm a mystic, I'm a visionary, something in the realm of how I work. And they are high angelic beings. Yeah. They're angels.
And you're lucky because, you see, in my case, when my guardian angel is helping me, I have no idea, or it's really, I'm unsure whether actually it's my guide telling me something. In your case, it's easy. It's like sitting in front of me now. The guide says blah, 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 and you're done.
Yeah, right.
Lucky you.
But see, I want to remind you of something, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm reminding you now of the gal that I helped die. I'm reminding you of the 5 people who called me last week who had neurological damage in their bodies going on, okay? Mm-hmm. I'm reminding you of the woman who called me day before yesterday, and she was completely possessed with demons, and I had to clear those demons out. That is not fun. I would not wish my job on anyone. I get attacked. I have had people in the shamanic world try to kill me numerous times. I have been in battle with a lot of things throughout my life, and I will go there and say to you and your viewers, the greatest protection of all, I'm wearing it. It's love. It's the greatest protection that we have. And if we think that battling something force to force is how we're going to win, it's not. It is loving all those things that are dark. It is filling darkness up with love. It is battling the darkness with love. And I cannot say that enough. And I don't mean it to sound trite or frivolous in any way. I have been in the trenches for 40 years doing this work, and I know what I'm talking about. It really is the greatest force of all that we can all use and actually dissolve that conflict or that corrupted person who's now thinking they have to be evil and angry because they don't like what you're doing, whatever. We've all dealt with this around the world.
Yeah. All we need is love and love is all we need. And I would like to ask you about maybe on a global question. At the moment, without mentioning the exact words, people are being injected with what is called an experimental liquid, and in Israel it's getting really bad. I mean, the majority have done it, and now they're going for the kids. And what are the angels and the guides saying about that madness?
It's madness, and it actually, on a global level, is an alien agenda. We are in the process, and I say this with the most gravity I can. We are in the process of a takeover right now, and our ability to resist that, to be able to say no, to be able to hold our sovereignty, our integrity, and respect is so important. And those 5 people I talked about with neurological problems is what I was referring to that you just mentioned.
As a result of that, of the injection.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And what I want to say about that is David Avocado and Dr. Mercola and people who are out there on the front lines, they have protocols that you can follow that will get that stuff out of your system. And I encourage everyone there, please look that up, because there are protocols that people can follow.
To look up what exactly? David Avocado?
David Avocado, Dr. Mercola, people in the industry.
Mercola with a P or with a K?
M-E-R, Mercola.
Mercola, okay.
Mercola.
And they have protocols.
These are frontline people.
Amazing.
Yes,
okay.
yes. But what I'm doing and what I'm seeing in my work, I'm going in and actually cleaning out the vagus nerve. A lot of people who have experienced this experimental thing, the vagus nerve becomes corroded like a pipe, and I go in and clean it out. I also repair the electrical system of the heart called the Perjenki, and that becomes almost like it's folding in on itself, and it should be long, smooth electrical lines. So I go in and repair that. The people I've done this for feel much better, and their neurological symptoms have subsided.
Okay, so coming back to the takeover, so that makes perfect sense, because people keep saying, well, how come it's all over the world? This disease is all over the world, and it's all happening together. Well, I guess these aliens are extorting bending the arms of all the leaders and threatening them. And basically, the leaders are just doing as they're told, because if they won't, they'll eat their brains or something. The aliens. No?
I love it. Yeah. Well, yeah, it is. I mean, I really feel that the leaders of the world are compromised. They either have an alien operating inside of them, or they are so deeply embedded, you do this, we'll do that. But I do feel it is a world takeover, and it is being played out through humans. And if we know anything about wars in our world, it's not the humans fighting the wars, even though we can all identify with that. Oh, you did this and they did that. It's alien energy coming through, and they're having their wars, manipulating us and using us. And the one thing I'm going to say is, when I have done my spirit traveling or time traveling, my guides took me on a little tour around our galaxy and showed me other species that were living. And do you know what I saw?
What?
I was shocked. I was not prepared for this at all. I saw alien races enslaving other alien races. Almost every place that they showed me around the galaxy, there was slavery going on. And that's what I'm talking about, is we are infinite souls having a human experience. That is like mind-blowing. We're infinite souls.
Do the aliens have souls?
So we have always been, and we will always be. So it is our right to be here as a soul in a body on the earth. But it is so important for people to remember that there is nothing that needs to direct you or or influence you or take you over. There's nothing, because you're infinite. You have always been, you will always be. So the minute we own that and we own our sovereignty, we will win this war. We will. But we have to get out of fear. We've got to get out of fear.
Do the aliens have souls?
The aliens have a type of soul that is infinite in its own way, but it's sort of like, now we're talking about, Oreo cookies and chocolate chip cookies. You got two different kinds of cookies here.
Yeah.
Everything in the universe is a part of God, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Everything. But it has a different energy to it. So the aliens are much more advanced. They're millions of years old. They have all this ability, but they're not of the human experience. The human experience is we have a big palette of emotions, and we feel things. We feel love. We feel hate. We feel anger. We feel joy, sadness, regret. And we paint our world with this palette of paints, which are emotions. That connects us to our karma. Aliens aren't having a karmic experience. They're not having this palette of emotions. They've evolved way beyond that. But unfortunately, they've disconnected from something important that we have, which is we can feel things.
So they are more advanced. So we are becoming aliens, basically, because they were humans and they became aliens.
We have the opportunity to evolve the human species with this ability to feel at the levels that we're feeling.
You said that the aliens are far more advanced, and now they've evolved beyond feelings. So I'm asking, did they have in the past, millions of years ago, did they have, like us, a soul and everything, but then they went too far and screwed it all up and became aliens? The soulless aliens?
Yes. Oh, okay. So if we look at it in the evolutionary process, yes, they had an early experience like we're having. They had feelings. They evolved. They changed. They were intercepted and corrupted by other aliens, just like they're trying to do to humans right now. So it is the same patterning. Yes. Are we headed towards a non-emotional kind of experience? Yes, because if you think of it this way, we came in the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is connected to the heart chakra. Okay, now we're in the fifth dimension. We're in the fifth chakra. But what happens when you go into the fifth chakra is everybody wants to push past that and go up into the mind, into the sixth. Mm-hmm. So we have artificial intelligence being created, big time. And we have all of this negation of what people are feeling, the experimental thing. We're negating what people are feeling. We're going straight to the brain and going, no, this is what we know. This is what we have to do.
Yep.
But what they're not telling you is the original thing that came out is biological warfare. And that's what scared the world population and in those in power, is they know it's biological warfare and they don't know how to deal with it.
You lost me there, but let me just go back to, because I was thinking about the soul. You said about that we have the ability to have feelings and the aliens used to. When you say the ability to have feelings, are you talking about the soul? The soul, my human soul and yours has the ability to feel. So in my previous life, and when I say in my soul's previous lifetime, it was able to experience feelings. And what about when between lifetimes, is the soul able to feel feelings when it's in the other on the other side?
Okay, I'm going to answer that. As an infinite soul, you are made up of three things: inner peace, your cellular structure is divine love, and the connective tissue is hope. That is your soul body. Okay? Yes. So when you die and you go back to God, you are immersed in divine love. That's your overall
feeling. Which is a feeling.
That's what you connect with.
And the aliens, they don't go when they die.
Hold on, I'm explaining this.
Yeah.
Okay? So when we incarnate into human form, we have an assortment of feelings because we have karma. So we have all these feelings that we can experience human life with and create karma, lifetime over lifetime.
And that's the
lifetime
soul. You're
after
talking
life.
about the soul. When you say we, you mean we, the
I'm
souls.
talking about the human experience. I'm talking about your infinite soul embodying a physical form called human, and we are experiencing the emotions. When you're out of your body and you're in, the spirit realm, you're not connected to all of those emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You have one overall feeling, and that's divine love.
Which is
so
good.
Aliens also are souls coming into their bodies, but they're void of that emotional experience. They're void of it.
So the bodies of the aliens, so the DNA of the aliens is emotionless, basically. So if a soul reincarnates into an alien's body, the soul won't be able to experience emotions because that structure of that particular alien doesn't enable the experience of emotions, unlike humans.
Right. The operating system doesn't have windows on it.
I see. Now, is it possible as a soul, you say that this is my last lifetime and yours, so where will my soul go? Can it reincarnate on another planet with more advanced or less advanced beings that have feelings?
Okay, so when you die, you, I, everybody will go to the spirit realm. We'll go to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
You have a sit down with God. God will ask you not what you did in your life. God will ask you how much you loved. And you'll say, well, I loved my mom and my dad and my family. And, I loved these people. And God might actually look at you and say, well, that love that you had for those people is meant for you to have for everyone around the world.
Yep.
And that's when we connect back with, oh, right, I am divine love. I need to be in that state. And I have heard this from people on the other side, that they were told in their sit down with God that they were meant to love everyone around the world as much as they loved their wife and their kids and their dog and everybody. Once you've gone through that process in the spirit realm, you will go back to the planet of which you came from. You have a planet of origin that you came from.
Okay.
And that planet is like your home base. And you'll hang out there for a while until you get a call. And the call is, hey, we need you on a new Earth program that we're going to implement a new species. And we'll all go probably to another Earth-like planet and do this all over again.
And amazing.
Because we're infinite, and we have always been, and we will always be. Our brains can barely wrap around that concept.
And the planet I go back to, my soul goes back to, is the soul going to be just flying around the planet, or would it be kind of attached to something?
No, you will incarnate into a form there. You will have an actual
alien.
Form, yeah.
Which is an alien.
Well, you could call it, yeah, sure, an alien. You'll go into a form.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Wow. So tell us about your traveling, your travels, your spirit travels. Tell us something amazing and shocking.
All that, let's talk about spirit traveling. I'm going to preface this again. I've been doing this work for 40 years, okay? Mm-hmm. Time and space for me is not what it is for most people. So 25 years ago, I sat down in meditation, had no idea what was going to happen. And my guides came to me after I had gone through my meditation, and my body actually dissolved into like these little particles of sand. You know that. And my body just totally dissolved. And then my guides held out their hands to me and said, we want to take you to this place. So we went up and we went up and we went up. And I had no idea where we were going, but I could feel it. It was like the wind and it was just like intense, like we were in a wormhole. And we went up and up and up. And finally we arrived. And we were standing at what they told me was the center of the universe. And there was this milky substance. And these beings were standing there. and I recognize the beings. They're called the Savrok. They're the ancient ant people. And the Savrok told me to step inside this milky substance. And I was scared, and I said, really? And my guide said, yes. So I stepped into it, and I went into a complete state of bliss. And I can't even describe to you how intense that was. It was like my whole body went into bliss. And I decided I didn't ever want to come out. I wanted to stay there forever because it was such an incredible feeling. And they came and took me out, and they said, now that you've experienced this and you know what the center of the universe is, we want you to experience time travel in this way. So they took me back. Well, my husband had been sitting there because we were going to make dinner, and I said, I'm just going to do like a 20-minute meditation. I had been gone 3.5 hours. And he was sitting in the dark waiting for me. He was so patient to wait for me. And from that point, my guides would come to me, and I would go through the process of meditation, dissolving like little grains of sand into everything. And then the guides hold their hands out, and I go with them. And they take me where they want me to see something. I don't say to them, hey, I'd like to go to Stonehenge today. You think we can do that? Okay, so they take me where they want me to see something in history.
Like ancient Egypt, for example. Tell us about your trip
like
there, please.
Egypt.
And the things you had to go through.
Yeah, well, I went back. I've gone to Egypt many times in my time travels, but one experience that you and I had mentioned in our conversation was when they took me back to 10,000 BC, and they took me to see Osiris's shaft and to go into the underworld. It was a completely different picture. You know, there was a temple over the shaft. There were guards. It was painted in gold and red, and it was beautiful.
Is it the pyramids? Like the pyramids?
This is at the Great Pyramids.
Inside?
Osiris's shaft.
Okay.
No, this is outside the pyramid.
Okay.
Yeah. And they told me Osiris is the god of the underworld. And they told me when we climbed down the ladder, we got to the first chamber, and it was all red, kind of like a womb. Mm-hmm. And they told me that this is where they allowed women who couldn't conceive. They were allowed to come down to this first opening, and the Osiris that was appointed in human form. Okay, so there's Osiris the god, and then they would appoint someone to actually be the human god Osiris, would copulate with the woman, impregnate her in this very magical place, and she would be good to go. If you went down further, you came to the next chamber, which in real life has 7 openings. And in these 7 openings were 7 sarcophagus. And they told me in order to go to this place, I had to go through the 7 deaths.
God.
So if you want, I will explain the 7 deaths, or we could talk about it at another time.
Yeah.
But it was very...
Does it take long
to explain? It was very intense. Well, I'll go through and tell you what happened, okay? They put me in the first sarcophagus and closed the lid. And it was very scary. I will admit to you, I felt like I was going to die. And I'm laying there, and all of a sudden these demons are like coming at me, like to attack me. And I did what I do. I cleared them. And once I cleared them, the lid opened. They helped me out, and they put me in the second one. And the second one was all about the gods. The gods came to me, the Egyptian gods, asking me for their instruments. Well, you know, I didn't really know what their instruments were, but I handed them a scepter, and they were like, yes, that's what we needed. And they thanked me, and they opened the lid. And I'm like, oh, phew, at least I got that one right. And they put me in the third one. And the third one, it was all gold. And this was about the death of the ego. This was them standing over me saying, who are you? No, no, who are you? And I kept answering, I am nothing. I am nothing. And they kept saying, no, who are you? We know you are important. We know you're on television. We know you do all these things. Who are you? And I kept looking at them. I was crying. I said, I am nothing. I am nobody. I am nothing. And then the lid opened. And that was them testing, and it was the death of the ego.
That
really.
was 3. And then number 4?
That was 3. Number 4 was green and gold. And this was about temptation. This was them coming to me and offering me gold and fame and riches and all these things. And I kept saying,
and who
no.
Are they? Who are they?
No.
The kings? The ancient kings of Egypt?
Egyptian gods.
Yeah, okay.
Egyptian gods.
Yep.
I kept saying, no, no, no. And so they finally, I said, no, enough. They let me out. They put me in the 5th one. This was about telling the truth. They asked me all these questions, wanting the truth. And I kept answering them, like what they said, what is important to you? I said, my faith. Who are you? I am nothing. So anyways, I went through all their questioning, and it opened up. And then they put me into the 6th sarcophagi, which was turquoise in color. And I'm laying in this one, and all of a sudden the whole thing was on fire, totally on fire. And I'm like, oh my God, it's on fire. I'm going to die. and I'm in 10,000 BC, and who knows I'm here. Anyways, I laid there, and I kept hearing, this voice, my guide, saying, it's okay, it's just an illusion. And I just laid in there like, okay, it's the illusion. I can deal with this. And I laid there long enough, it went out. And they opened the lid. They put me in the 7th one. This one was painted all white inside. And all of a sudden, I'm like moving around. Like this thing is, I'm sliding, I'm moving around. And we're going up. And guess where it went? It went to the center of the universe. It was like a time-traveling sarcophagi. It was bizarre. And I got there, they opened the lid, and there were the ancient ant people. There was that milky white substance I talked about. We talked about what it meant, why I was at the center of the universe, how connected this was. And then they put me back in, took me back to this place. They opened the lid, and Osiris said, you have now gone through the 7 deaths, and you are able to enter the underworld.
Wow.
And then a whole bunch of other stuff happened after that. But it was really, really intense. And
amazing.
I tell you this story, so that your viewers can hear this, but I can't express enough I was speechless for days, really. It was very intense.
It sounds like the 7 bardos in the Tibetan Book of the Dead.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah, yeah.
Very similar story. Okay, so that was your initiation. Now are you like a frequent traveler in the underworld, or or a time traveler?
Do I have my passport?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I definitely feel that was an initiation of great proportions, yes.
But are you able to time travel now, whenever at will?
Oh, no, I have been. I've been time traveling for 25 years.
So you can time travel now? Can you time travel back to Tudor England?
No, I wrote the book Spirit Traveler. You should look at this book, Spirit Traveler. This is about my time travels to some very ancient sacred sites. And it tells you what we know in history, and then what my spirit travels discovered. So I highly recommend you read the book. Yeah.
And when you time travel, can you fix, think in your head, I'm going to go back to the year, I'm going to go and meet Isaac Newton, like you said. I'm going to go and meet Napoleon. I'm going to go and meet Julius Caesar. And you could just go back to that time, and you just walk around the streets of Rome and check it out, and then see maybe Julius Caesar and go see some gladiators and come back, like Back to the Future.
Yeah, no,
the film.
remember what I said. I can only go where my guides take me.
I see.
So I don't travel anywhere. This is not astral projection. This is a completely different process of time travel. I can't go anywhere until my body dissolves into small grains of sand. Well, if I'm not in a deep state of meditation, I'm not going anywhere.
I see.
So it is, and it's really up to them.
So they tell you, Sonya, today we would like to do a time travel. Please prepare yourself and let's go.
Correct.
I see. And is there like a purpose each time?
Yes.
What's
There's
the purpose?
a big purpose. The purpose is to understand historically what really happened, why it was
for you to
built.
Understand.
Well, I mean, I wrote a book. I guess everybody in the world can
to understand. And then
understand.
to channel it, or not just to bring it and to publish it. That's the idea.
Sure.
Oh,
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So what about the role of forgiveness? What role does forgiveness play in the changes we're going through these days? The middle lane, I believe you call it.
Well, when we talked about duality splitting apart and how we have a tendency as humans to let our energy go out into something, our energy leaves our body and goes into something that we're connecting with. Oh, I'm really angry about that. And our anger connects with that anger. All we're doing is spinning the karma wheel one more time. We're just creating more karma. So I teach a grounding meditation that is to ground our energy into the earth, because our primary relationship is not with each other, it's with this planet. That is our primary number one relationship. Yes, we have soulmates and we have all kinds of connections with people, but our relationship with the earth is the most important. And out of that, and duality, as I talked about, splitting apart, we have to sort of reinvent what we're doing and who we are. We have to reinvent the whole idea of spiritualism. And like I said earlier in the interview, we're so busy being addicted, we can't see the forest through the trees. So when I time travel and I go back and see what really happened somewhere, I'm sharing that information so people understand how much history has been corrupted, has been changed, has been recorded based on the priests or the people in power or whoever want to record it the way they want it.
Amazing. So that's the guided meditation you do?
No, the guided meditation I do is what I am doing in the Meditation Peace Project, which is a free 1-hour Zoom meditation that I take people through once a month. And we work on forgiveness, because forgiveness is the key to clearing and healing our karma. That's how we clear it. Yeah. So it's really easy for us to go, oh yeah, I forgave her. Oh yeah, I forgave him. But it's a mental thing. If we feel forgiveness, if we feel it in our bodies, it's a whole different experience. Yeah. So in the Meditation Peace Project, I take people into inner peace. We expand it, we expand peace around the world, but we work on forgiveness, because my goodness, I don't know about you, but I really think that's where we're at. We need forgiveness.
I'm huge on forgiveness. I love it.
Yeah.
I could do it, forgiveness all day long. I just don't really have many people to forgive. Actually, I do, yeah. There's plenty to forgive. I forgive the government. I forgive the reptilians. I forgive, bullies at school.
Right,
wow.
Right.
Amazing.
Right.
Amazing.
So it is very important, yeah.
I knew this was going to be an outstanding interview, and my God, was it. And I enjoyed every moment. And
thank you.
Perhaps now at the very end of the interview, you would like to impart a message onto our viewers, something important you'd like to let them know. Sonya Grace, go ahead, please.
Okay. The message that I want to pass on is that we don't lose hope, that we're all struggling right now, and we're all dealing with something that's much bigger than any of us ever thought it could get. And we can't lose hope. We have to unite as a world community and stand together and stick together. And remember that, it is our freedom, our freedom, whatever that means to you, whatever freedom is the expression of in your daily life. You are free in meditation. You are free in your mind and your heart. And don't forget that hope, that connective tissue of your soul body is what is generating and working with the cells, which is divine love. And we're always connected to divine love. None of us are ever separated from source, from God. We're never separated. So please keep that in your heart, in your mind, and remember every day to share and have hope and to connect with your world community, because we all need each other really bad right now.
Wonderful. What a wonderful message. What a wonderful interview. As I said, I enjoyed every moment, and I'd love to have you back on the show in the future.
Oh, I love it. Thank you.
Fantastic. And all I could say is thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, and good luck with everything you do. And to our lovely guests, wow, this was one of the most amazing interviews I've had. Wonderful, amazing. All the information or contact information of Sonya will be mentioned under the video, the interview, for you to contact her if you wish. Don't forget, all we need is love and forgiveness. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.